Alright, Yu-Gi-Oh!
You ever get that nostalgic feeling? The one that hits you and makes you feel like 20 years is such a long time ago. That's what Yu-Gi-Oh is to me. For over a decade, I watched countless series, opened 100 packs, spent days on video games, and I dueled a lot of my friends. But as time goes on, you start to drift away from those special activities. You got studies, then you've got work, then you got a family, and most importantly,
Out of time.
I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh since 2014. I might have touched on it here and there, but never the same way since. I think it was Primal Origin or Duelist Alliance, because I remember the artifacts and the Shadow decks coming out at the time, but it was around when the Pendulum mechanic became a thing. Officially, the last pack I ever bought then was Primal Origin. Though it's not like I stopped because I wanted to. To add a bit of context, where I'm from, we didn't have packs to buy. Now, I'm from Egypt, and ironically, a show about a card game revolving around ancient Egypt and a pharaoh protagonist never hit the shelves until the start of the 2020s. So, where did I buy the packs? To add even further context, I lived in Saudi Arabia for a majority of my life, which had an on-off relationship with the Yu-Gi-Oh! There we had everything released at the start from Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon all the way to Cybernetic Revolution. Then it kind of went off for a bit, but came back at the start of the Synchro era with the Duel of Genesis and came to a halt when Ancient Prophecy was released. From then on, it was anytime I traveled, if I went to the US, Germany, France, blah blah blah, anywhere, I might have just, picked off a pack or there. But I remember Primal Origins being the last pack I ever bought since. But across the years, I've been looking for a way to get back into the game. But the only options viable at the time were probably just Dueling Network, now called Dueling Book, I guess, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro. Sadly, none of those I'd consider viable options because one, they're completely free to play, and while it's nice to have everything at the touch of your hands without having to pay anything, but you gotta give back and support the hard work and effort from the Konami employees to try to get us the next evolution in the children's card game. But then, around mid 2021, two incredible events happened simultaneously that actually kind of gave me the chance to start getting back into the game. Master Duel was announced to be in development, and it dropped a sick looking trailer that got me so hyped for it. The second event was that I, for the first time in over 10 years, decided to Google if there's a place that sells Yu Gi Oh cards in Egypt. And lo and behold, I actually found a shop. The place was called the Hobby Corner Store, and surprisingly, it was a 30-minute walk from where I live. I dare say I probably passed it a bajillion times without noticing, but hey, there's a card game store right now, so that's the most important thing. My first time there was like going to card game heaven. It wasn't just Yu-Gi-Oh! There's also Pokemon. There's those bicycle cards, the set of cards where they're just normal set of cards, but they have really cool designs. And apparently Digimon was now a thing. And I was like, wow, what a time to be alive. So many card games. But getting back into the game isn't as simple as getting a couple of cards and thinking, hey, I'm gonna be on top of my game in no time. The game mechanics have changed so drastically. There's so many new archetypes, and I have no idea what they do. Hand traps are such a dominant force in the game right now, and actual traps are barely even used anymore. No, like seriously, barely used to the point that remember battle phase traps? They're almost no longer a thing. I haven't even touched on pendulums, and I have an inkling of just how link monsters are used. Which then brings us to what this video is all about. I hope you didn't think this was just me pouring my heart out and reminiscing about the good old days. But I've actually always wanted to start a YouTube channel about something I love. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is really close to heart and something I've always been passionate about. Even in the years that I haven't been playing, I have been passionate about and I've always wanted to find a way back. Now, the channel itself might not always be about Yu-Gi-Oh! And it might always be a channel. Hey, it might even cease to exist before the channel takes off. But on the subject of content, I'll be probably doing this firstly for myself. Then, if there's any old Yu-Gi-Oh fan that's looking to reconnect but kind of went through the same story and the same shtick that I went through, might be beneficial for them. And if there are any new players, I'll be making guides, so hopefully it'll be very useful for new players that looking to jump onto the game. And the content I'll be looking to provide is A, relearning the game mechanics. So this is just to get a better wrap and understanding of the new mechanics, for example, like the pendulums, the link summons, the chain mechanics, and just, refresh the memory there. B, bolstering my knowledge of the archetypes through their playstyles, combos, and actual tests. And Yu-Gi-Oh! At the end of the day is a knowledge game. So the more you know, the better the advantage that you'll have. C would be to provide reviews on latest sets and ban lists. Maybe my opinion would be worth something. D, of course, what's a Yu-Gi-Oh channel without some box and pack openings? Now I'll be probably testing and playing mainly on Master Duel, so don't expect to see deck guides for cards that won't be on Master Duel, but there probably will be once they are added into the game. I'll probably mention not to treat me as a pro, because I'm pretty sure I'm gonna do a lot of mistakes, but the more I do mistakes, the more I will learn eventually. So without further ado, welcome all to the Yugi Boomer series.